Good afternoon, everyone. So, today we're going to be discussing the water availability in California.
California is still experiencing a surge in drought, even though there's been an effort to kind of mitigate some of this droughts by learning how to conserve water better. We're still kind of in quite a bit of a drought. Scientists have confirmed this, and it has been well noted all around the region. We keep getting those numbers every year, and it doesn't seem to be improving by much. Um, and it's just due to the amount of uh, water availability and the amount of water that's needed throughout the entire state. We have to keep in mind that towards the end of all this, the impact really does come down to the user, and we're all ultimately the users, especially since a lot of the water ends up going towards agricultural needs or according to the pie charts and stuff. But we have to keep in mind that um, everybody has to basically collaborate in this um, effort to conserve water because it's one of those resources that really is that could potentially be more scarce if not managed very well.
So, let's first dive into the California's water system. On the right-hand corner image, it's an image of the California's precipitation rate, and that's recorded by inches. So as you can see, it's highly variable, but most of the precipitation falls in the Northern California area. Below that image is an image on the California water system and how it moves. So it's mainly going to move from north to south. Like I said, the north receives most of the precipitation, so it's going to bring that water to Southern California. So the areas that are covered in with this light blue color are going to be areas where the water is imported. The areas that are remained white, there are exporters of water. So as you can see, most of the white areas are going to be on the north side of California. The dotted lines are the locations to where the canal, aqueduct, and pipeline are located, and the solid blue line is where the river, lake, delta, and bay area is going to be located. So as you guys can see, the California's water system is quite complex. There are various water sources that are going to be interconnected to each other. Most of the water use occurs on the central and southern California, so a major system of canals were needed and made to help transport that water across the state. So you may ask, well, how is this whole California system going to be financed? And it's financed from various sources from federal, local, and state levels. And the reason why it's financed is because it helps meet the needs of the agricultural and urban water users and for the environment as well. So there's different types of water systems, and I'm just going to go over some of the basic ones. We have the public water system. They basically provide water for human consumption, and it's regulated by the State Water Resource Control Board. And under the system, there's the community water system, the non-community system, and the tribal water system. Then there's the state small water system. It provides water for human consumption as well, but does not regularly serve drinking water, and it's overseen by the county health officers. Then the last one is going to be the domestic well water system. It's basically groundwater that's used for domestic needs, and this system is not regularly monitored by the state or local government.
It's important to keep in mind the resurgence of drought conditions in California, especially since sometimes the news will cover like a massive rain and then they'll indicate that um, we've collected a lot of water. People start seeing pictures or videos of the dams being quote unquote recharged, but they also forget that there's some of the water that we do collect is actually underground water, and those that data is not as popular by the news media, so that's something that goes unnoticed. And California is actually facing quite a bit of a challenge trying to recharge the water delta and such.
Moving on to California's water supply. So here I'm going to go over some basic information of the usage of water. About 75% of the available surface water, it comes from northern Sacramento, and 80% of the demand comes from the southern two-thirds of the state. In a typical year, there's roughly about 40% of the state's water supply comes from groundwater. And when that dry season comes, there's around a 60% increase or more. And the groundwater in the summer is an extremely important barrier towards the influences of drought and climate change. In the summer, that is when the demand for water increases and is the highest. And as well, we face low snowmelt and natural precipitation during the summer. As we all know, California's weather is quite inconsistent. We face long droughts and major floods, which is one of the major reasons why people invested time and money to build this complex and advanced water storage, flood management, and water transport system for water.
Now, this is just a quick reminder that water does flow downhill. It is influenced by gravity, um, and natural lakes have been formed by geological events, either by plate tectonic motion, by volcanoes or glaciers. And the majority of California lakes are man-made, so they're not natural. They probably shouldn't be there at some locations, but you know, it's kind of a stressful situation trying to supply as much water to the end users as possible at this point. Hopefully, we can learn how to manage water slightly better. Also, keep in mind that the water is not just for us. It's a precious resource that is used by animals and other living organisms. So we have to keep in mind the ecological pyramid when we use water and distribute water appropriately. Just because there isn't enough water to keep wasting at this point, you have to kind of let it sink in. The fact that the recovery of underwater reservoirs is very challenging. Um, the extraction of water from underground is actually a lot versus how much it can actually be recharged every year. And some cities, some towns, I guess, um, do tend to sink due to the overusage of this water. So it's eventually going to impact a lot more people. And being from California, you probably felt quite a bit of earthquakes. Who knows if those are natural earthquakes or they were earthquakes that were caused due to some of these issues. These are just some quick references of where we got our information from. Feel free to check them out, read a little bit more on the information that we provided today, and thank you.